Welcome to the science of fat loss. Nothing makes a body stand out more than a tight set of ripped and chiseled abs. It's a signature of all great physiques. A ripped set of abdominals indicates a low percentage of body fat. This accounts for the natural attraction a tight waistline has. It represents health and vitality. So how do you get definition in your abdominals? Well, you've got three things: diet, diet, and diet. You see, the appearance of your abdominals is all about fat loss. It has very little to do with abdominal strength. That's why all the stomach strengthening devices like the ab rollers and the crunch headrests and those things are really useless. By far the most effective way to improve your abdominal appearance is to lose the fat around your stomach, not build the muscle up. That's what the science of fat loss will do: reduce overall body fat and eliminate the fat around your stomach. You see, the science of fat loss is not a weight loss program at all. It's a fat loss program. So what's the difference? Well, weight loss can be deceiving because there are three different kinds of weight that you can lose: muscle, water, and fat. Of the three, fat is by far the lightest. Muscle weighs 3 times as much as fat per volume. So if you have this much muscle and you have this much fat, both the same size volume-wise, the muscle weighs 3 times as much, not twice as much, 3 times as much. And water weighs even more than that. So weight loss can be deceiving because it doesn't say anything about body composition change. Losing just a little bit of muscle and water will amount to more weight loss than losing fat. So you don't want to lose weight. What you want to lose is body fat. So the scale is meaningless. Throw it away. And instead, gauge your success by the reduction in your belt size and, most importantly, how you look in the mirror. The truth is that actual fat loss occurs at roughly a pound, maybe a pound and a half or 2 a week. That doesn't sound too encouraging, but a pound of pure fat is actually a pretty big sack of fat. This is a pound of pure fat. As you can see, it's pretty big volume-wise. So imagine losing one of these sacks of fat for a week, for a couple weeks, for a month, and so forth. It starts to sound pretty encouraging. You see, weight loss is simply a matter of thermodynamics. If you expend more calories than you intake, you will lose weight. But that doesn't say anything about fat loss. Weight loss programs, especially food reduction, starvation diets, reduce overall body weight by creating a caloric deficit, but they don't attack the actual fat very well. So you have smaller arms and legs, but still hold the flab around the middle because you've mainly lost muscle and water. That's why the science of fat loss gets rid of the fat around your waist first, because that's where the actual fat is. That's where it's mostly stored. We are going to show you exactly what to do to attack the actual fat and have it consumed as energy. The very best way to attack your body fat storage and have it used up as energy is to set your body up at the correct metabolism. Your metabolism is the chemical reactions and processes that are happening in your body to produce adolescent growth, recover from injuries, regenerate tissues, keep all your internal organs functioning, and so forth. These chemical reactions rely on a vast assortment of nutrients that you ingest by eating. What you eat directly determines your metabolism. So how do you increase your metabolism and lose the actual fat? Well, it's really just as simple as 1, 2, 3. Meat, veggies, olive oil. Think of your body's metabolism as a construction project where construction workers get parts and supplies from a warehouse. This warehouse has 3 main sections: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Nutritionists would call these 3 things macronutrients. Every morsel of food you eat, from a candy bar to a steak dinner, falls into one of these 3 categories. Within these three categories are subcategories called micronutrients. In the protein section, you have your amino acids, 22 of them, 8 of which are essential. In the carbohydrate section of the warehouse are your vitamins and minerals, vitamin A, B complex, C, E, zinc, beta carotene, iron, etc., etc. And in the fat section of your warehouse are your fatty acids, specifically your omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids. When you eat, your body distributes the food onto the micronutrient shelves in your warehouse. Food ingested that does not fit on any of the micronutrient shelves gets put over into the garbage pile. And guess what the garbage pile is? That's right, stored body fat. Or at least that's what it turns into, and your body holds on to that stored body fat as long as it can if it has empty shelves in its warehouse because it senses starvation. In order to ensure survival, your body is designed to deplete its fat storage as slowly as possible when it is low on essential nutrients. Empty shelves in your nutritional warehouse makes your body store fat. Period. Empty shelves in your warehouse also stimulates hunger, and as long as you are eating the wrong foods to satisfy that hunger, then your body still holds on to its fat, no matter how much exercise you do. The only way to lose the actual fat and keep it off is to keep all the shelves in your nutritional warehouse stocked. And how do you do that? Again, meat or eggs, which an egg is just a chicken embryo, so element-wise, it's really meat, veggies and or fruit, and olive oil, or some other form of monosaturated fat. The food fortified with nutrients go into the three main sections of your warehouse. The meat has your protein, which contains your amino acids that are the building blocks all of your body parts are made of. Your hair, skin, internal organs, muscles, fingernails, everything is made of protein. Along with your amino acids, meat also has some vitamins and minerals. The carbohydrate section of the warehouse contains your vitamins and minerals. These vitamins and minerals act as catalysts to assemble the protein. So you can think of it as the protein is the bricks and lumber and cement, and the carbohydrates are the construction workers that assemble them into a structure. You don't want too many pieces of lumber and too few of construction workers, or vice versa. You need the right balance to make things work right. The fat section of your warehouse contains your essential fatty acids, specifically your omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids. These fatty acids help reduce inflammation in your joints. This will really help in reducing joint pain often associated with basketball and other activities. When you reduce the swelling in and around the joint, it reduces what's pushing on the tissue and causing the pain and stiffness. The right kind of fat also releases a hormone in your stomach called cholestokininin, or CCK, which is a natural appetite suppressant that tells your body, I'm full. It's okay to stop eating now. Without fat in your diet, it's awfully hard to stop eating because you've got this big hole in your nutritional warehouse and your body keeps stimulating hunger. So when you eat, your digestive system puts the meat into the protein section of the warehouse, and also some meat goes onto the vitamin and mineral shelves. It puts the fruits and vegetables into the carbohydrate section, and it puts the monosaturated fat into the fats section of the warehouse. Proteins, carbohydrates, and fats from good sources go onto the shelves in your warehouse, and proteins, carbohydrates, and fats from bad sources go to the garbage pile and is stored as body fat. So what determines if a protein, carbohydrate, or fat is good or bad? Well, with fats, you have three different kinds. One that is good for you, one that is bad for you, and one that is really bad for you. The good kind of fat is called monosaturated fat. It has the omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids and has the good triglycerides and produces lipoprotein, which is the good kind of cholesterol, and is the kind of fat that makes you lose fat. It helps stimulate metabolism by filling those shelves in the essential fatty acid section of your warehouse. Monosaturated fat can be found in olive oil, flaxseed oil, macadamia nuts, and a few other things we will list later. The bad kind of fat is called polysaturated fat and is found in beef, pork, and milk products. Polysaturated fat gets stored as body fat if it mixes with bad carbohydrates and can clog arteries and cause a vast assortment of other health problems. And the really bad fat is called trans fat. This is the fat they put into cookies, crackers, and potato chips to give them shelf life. Trans fat is also used in making French fries and donuts. Trans fat is proven to cause all kinds of health problems, including cancer, heart problems, and of course, stored body fat. The National Academy of Sciences says the level of trans fat in your diet should be as low as possible, or preferably eliminated. So polysaturated fat from pork, beef, and whole milk should be reduced as much as possible, and cookies, crackers, potato chips, French fries, and donuts need to be eliminated. Next, we move on to carbohydrates. What makes a carbohydrate good or bad are its micronutrient content, again, how many of the shelves in our warehouse get stocked with vitamins and minerals, and where it sits on the glycemic index. The glycemic index is a measuring tool that indicates how fast a carbohydrate enters into the bloodstream. Carbohydrates that get dumped into the bloodstream fast are high on the glycemic index, and carbohydrates that get released into the bloodstream real slow are low on the glycemic index. A good carbohydrate is low on the glycemic index, and a bad carbohydrate is high on the glycemic index, and a lot of carbs fall somewhere in between. Think of the glycemic index as a measuring tape. Foods lowest on the glycemic index are green vegetables. Broccoli and spinach are your two big powerhouses. Spinach contains beta-carotene. Broccoli contains vitamin C in a higher abundance than orange juice. These substances are antioxidants that have been linked to cancer risk reduction and optimal health. Foods highest on the glycemic index are sugar products like candy bars. Also high on the glycemic index are flour products like bread and pasta. Potatoes and rice are high on the glycemic index as well. Nutritionists would refer to these as simple carbohydrates. They get dumped into the bloodstream right away and don't fill hardly any of the shelves in the nutritional warehouse. Nutritionists would refer to these as empty calories. You need to eliminate, or reduce as much as possible, flour and sugar products from your diet. This includes candy, bread, and pasta, and all bakery products. So if it's made of flour or sugar, don't eat it. Your good carbohydrates are fruits and vegetables down here at the low end of the glycemic index. Green vegetables are among the lowest. Nutritionists would refer to these as complex carbohydrates. They get absorbed into the bloodstream slowly, avoiding the need for the pancreas to give an insulin spike. You see, carbohydrates that go to the garbage pile don't just get eliminated without any shelves to fit on. They go into the bloodstream right away. Candy and sugar go in the fastest, followed by bread, pasta, rice, and potatoes. With a whole bunch of bad carbohydrates in the bloodstream at once, your glycogen level gets raised, so your body orders the pancreas to dump a bunch of insulin in to balance out the hormones. Kind of like a teeter-totter. This is designed to be a once-in-a-while thing and not a constant usage thing. Constant usage can wear out the pancreas and cause diabetes because your body simply cannot remanufacture enough insulin to deal with the constant demand, especially if it's got empty shelves in its warehouse. Low glycemic carbs balance out the glycogen and insulin hormonal axis and also fill those vitamin and mineral shelves in the warehouse. A good rule of thumb is, the darker and richer the color of a fruit or vegetable, the better it is for you, because darker and richer colors indicate that more photosynthesis has taken place. Photosynthesis is the process where a plant takes sunlight and converts it into food. For instance, spinach has 38 times the amount of beta-carotene, one of the cancer-fighting micronutrients, than iceberg lettuce. See the difference in color? That's what the difference is in nutrient content. So you want bright red apples and tomatoes, deep blue blueberries, dark green spinach and broccoli, and dark red peppers. Dull colored vegetables like corn and carrots are higher on the glycemic index and have some micronutrients, but not as many as dark green vegetables and are not as good for fat loss. Next, we move on to protein, the building blocks of nutrition. What makes a protein good or bad are its fat content and its amino acid profile. Protein from things like hamburger, pepperoni, and bacon are high in fat, specifically polysaturated fat. Remember from the fat section, polysaturated fat is the bad kind of fat that puts on body fat. That's why you want lean protein like chicken and fish. Protein contains your amino acids. The higher the quality of protein, the higher the amino acid content. You have 22 amino acids in all, 8 of which are essential, meaning they cannot be manufactured from other sources in your body. Your body simply cannot jimmy rig these nutrients. They have to be ingested through the food you eat, or else things like workout recovery, disease prevention, adolescent growth, and so forth don't happen. From a bioavailability standpoint, the best source of protein is egg whites, followed by fish at a close second. Fish and eggs also contain a plethora of vitamins and minerals, and some fish also have some omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Fish covers a lot of shelves in the nutritional warehouse. Next on the list is poultry, things like turkey and chicken. Also high in amino acids and vitamins and minerals are lean cuts of red meat, like steak. So for a protein to be good, it should be low in fat and high in amino acid content. So animal sources like fish and egg whites work the very best. A note about egg yolks. Some nutritionists claim egg yolks are disastrous and contain bad fat and bad cholesterol and should be avoided at all costs. Others don't think egg yolks are that bad. We feel the evidence is not real strong either way, but why take the chance? Eat egg whites whenever possible. Fat loss summary. You want to balance out your 3 macronutrients every time you eat from good sources. Good sources of protein are listed here. Take the time to pause the video and write these down. Good sources of carbohydrates are listed here. Take the time to pause the video and write these down. And good sources of fat are listed here. Take the time to pause the video and write these down. These lists are not inclusive of all the possibilities, but these are definitely some of the big power hitters of nutrition. Now, every time you eat, just count to 3. Eat some meat or eggs, veggies and or fruit, and olive oil, or some other form of monosaturated fat. Next, you want to avoid empty calories from flour and sugar products. These not only don't add nutrients onto the shelves in the nutritional warehouse, but they actually steal some of the nutrients that are already there, robbing your body of even more vital fuel. If you count to 3, eating from 3 good sources, you will increase your metabolism and finally lose the actual fat. But fat loss is really just kind of a side effect. The real benefit in maximizing your metabolism lies in balancing out your hormones and fighting disease. Now, many teenagers are hormonally challenged, to say the least. This can be characterized by acne, mood swings, and other characteristics. Eating in a way that balances out your glycogen and insulin hormonal axis will help eliminate the mood swings often associated with hormonal imbalances. Also, increasing your metabolism increases your body's tissue regeneration. This is key in preventing cancer because cancer is degenerative, meaning bad cells start reproducing too rapidly and cannot be overtaken by good cells, and soon tissue is destroyed as it keeps spreading. Optimizing your metabolism helps your tissue be regenerative, meaning good tissue keeps getting reproduced, like when a child grows. When your body keeps regenerating tissues, it fights off cancer by having natural antibodies seek out and destroy cancer-starting cells before they ever have a chance to get out of control. Optimizing tissue regeneration through what you eat is also the best way to slow down the effects of the aging process. How you feed yourself is the most important factor in looking and feeling young. Following a meat, veggie, olive oil diet and therefore reducing your intake of polysaturated fats and trans fats is very beneficial to your circulatory system. By unclogging your arteries, you will allow a bigger tube for the blood to flow through. Hence, you lower your blood pressure. Of all the ways of dying, most people die of heart failure. The ticker just quits ticking. If you open up all your blood flow tubes and allow an easier, more efficient blood flow, it'll take a lot of pressure off of your heart and it'll make it last a lot longer. Also, the correct diet utilizing low glycemic carbohydrates will eliminate the need for constant insulin spikes, which will relieve stress on the pancreas and prevent diabetes. And if you are already diabetic, then a meat, veggie, olive oil diet with low glycemic carbs is really your only option. A lot of people don't know how much their mental performance and memory can be improved through their diet. Just like your other internal organs and tissues, your brain runs off of the fuel that you eat. In fact, your brain gets first dibs on nutrients. It gets fed first. The brain is the central processing unit for the metabolism of all the other organs and tissues in the body. The correct diet will improve your memory, mental alertness, learning ability, and overall mental performance on things like final exams in school. Parents of school-aged children might want to take note of this, as it will improve your child's grades in school considerably. And of course, your athletic performance will skyrocket on the meat, veggie, olive oil diet. Your joints will stop aching, your power output will increase, and your endurance will go through the roof. With all the essential micronutrients available for metabolism, your body is running on all cylinders and is physically and mentally capable of maximum exertion and performance. So the real benefits of optimizing your metabolism through the correct diet are cancer prevention, heart disease prevention, diabetes prevention, enhanced mental performance and memory, and improved athletic performance. And fat loss is just the visual result of improving your overall health. But then there's something even more exciting for the adolescent athlete: growing taller. So how can it make you grow taller? Well, nothing can make you grow taller, or else we would have everyone 8 or 9 feet tall. Your bone structure and maximum potential growth height are genetically predetermined. But think about this. Many people don't reach their overall maximum potential growth height due to nutritional factors. Many high school wrestlers fall victim to this unfortunate situation where they starve themselves in order to make weight by depriving themselves of vital nutrients that are essential for growth. At that critical growth stage of 13 to 17 years of age, the period in your life where you make the very most physical progress of any stage in your life. This results in stunted growth. Worldwide, lack of nutrition is the #1 cause of growth retardation. A lot of teenagers eat a lot of food, but don't eat a lot of nutrients, the nutrients that are required for the metabolic functions of growth. Growth is a classic example of tissue regeneration. Well, growth can be defined as cellular multiplication. Tissues regenerate best when they can extract whatever they need from the nutritional warehouse. If your protein shelves, carbohydrate shelves, and monosaturated fat shelves are constantly stocked with amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids, then your body can produce maximum growth height. So there's nothing you can do to increase your genetically predetermined growth height, but there's a lot you can do to decrease it, specifically nutritional deficiencies. If you constantly stock all of your nutritional shelves during your growing years, you will achieve the absolute maximum height you genetically can, which would probably be more than if your body is constantly trying to grow on empty calories like flour and sugar products. So here is exactly what to do. Get several small Tupperware containers. I use 1.6 ounce ones, but you can experiment with whatever size you want. Get a couple of large Tupperware containers. Go to the grocery store. Go to the frozen food aisle. Get frozen broccoli, frozen spinach, frozen green beans, and any other frozen green vegetables you can find, like zucchini and Brussels sprouts. Go to the canned meat aisle and get canned salmon and other canned meat like turkey and chicken. Go to the oil aisle and get some olive oil. Go to the meat counter. Get some chicken, lean red meat, and fish. Unbreaded frozen fish will work fine. Go to the fruit aisle and get a couple of apples, a honeydew melon, a cantaloupe, a pineapple, and any other fruits you would like. Get some fresh vegetables that are rich and dark in color, like broccoli, red peppers, onions, and so forth. Get some eggs. Also, get some lean lunch meat like turkey and chicken. Convenient, high quality protein, always on hand. Get some blueberries and some tomatoes. Both are huge in nutrients and come in convenient, easy to open and close containers. So here's your shopping list. Take the time to pause the video and write this down. When you arrive at home, start assembling your high nutrition mini meals. A high nutrition mini meal, or HNMM, is a convenient, optimal nutrition meal consisting of meat, veggies or fruit, and olive oil or some other form of monosaturated fat. This is exactly what contest bodybuilders do. They pre-assemble their meals for the week all at once. This makes it convenient and easy to stick to. Take your small Tupperware bowls, line them up, and pour them about 1/3 full of frozen broccoli. Then mix in some green beans and maybe some collard greens, zucchini, and Brussels sprouts, or whatever else you got for frozen green vegetables. Then, when the bowls are about 2/3 full, top them off with frozen spinach. You can literally make an assembly line and stock up 10 or more of these little bowls. These frozen green veggie bowls stack nicely in your freezer and don't take up hardly any room. Here's a helpful hint. Try mixing as many different kinds of frozen green vegetables as possible into your freezer bowls. Mixing frozen broccoli and spinach along with other dark green frozen vegetables like collard greens, mustard greens, Brussels sprouts, and green beans gives you more of a chance to stock all the different shelves in your nutritional warehouse. The wider the variety of nutrient-dense, dark green vegetables you got, the more different vitamin and mineral shelves you are stocking in the nutritional warehouse. Mix this with salmon and olive oil, and you're stocking all kinds of shelves throughout the whole warehouse. Remember, fat loss is a game of stocking as many different shelves as possible in the nutritional warehouse. That's why having 5 or more different kinds of vegetables creates such a powerful fat loss tool. Now you've always got meat with your canned meat and your olive oil, both of which never go bad, always on hand, and your frozen green veggies always available in the freezer, so there's no excuse. You've always got meat, veggies, olive oil on hand at all times, and believe me, convenience will rule. You can kid yourself, but that's why fast food places are so successful. When you're stressed and you're busy and you're hungry, you will resort to convenience. So when you're always stocked, you always have a high nutrition mini meal immediately available. And most of the time, eating a high nutrition mini meal is really just a matter of deciding that you're going to do it. And that's the way you have to eat to lose fat. Period. A note about frozen vegetables versus fresh vegetables. Some nutritionists argue for fresh veggies, while others say that frozen veggies have a better chance of getting picked at their optimal, most potently ripe state and are kept that way through cryogenic, that's freezing, technology. We feel both frozen and fresh vegetables are real good and either one will do fine. It's just that frozen is more convenient, and in a hectic, busy lifestyle, convenience will rule. After you assemble your frozen veggie bowls and stock them in the freezer, cut up all your fruit into squares and mix them up in a large Tupperware container. Cook up some chicken, turkey burgers, and/or fish and put it in a Tupperware container or Ziploc bags. Here's a helpful hint. Orange juice makes a great marinade for chicken and other meats. Soak your chicken in orange juice for an hour, or overnight if you'd like, and maybe add some spices. The citrus action in the orange juice will tenderize the meat and make it taste better. And of course, orange juice is healthy and good for you. Next, hard-boil up some eggs by placing raw eggs in a pot of water. Then place the pot on top of a burner turned up as high as it will go. As soon as the water starts to boil, shut the burner off completely and let the eggs sit in the hot water for about 12 minutes, then pour the water out and immediately run cold water over the eggs still in the pot. Then dump the cold water out and put the hard-boiled eggs back into their original container with the top removed and place the eggs into the refrigerator. Always have some hard-boiled eggs on hand. Egg whites are the very best source of protein, and they happen to be among the cheapest of proteins as well. By the way, a quick and easy way to tell if an egg is raw or hard-boiled is to spin the egg. A hard-boiled egg will have a tight, fast spin, whereas the yolk inside a raw egg sloshes around inside the shell, creating a slow, wobbly spin. Peel the shell off of the hard-boiled egg and then separate the egg white exterior from the ball of yolk. Put the yolks and the shells down the garbage disposal or into a sandwich bag and seal it up for disposal and consume only the egg whites. Again, there's a debate over eating egg yolks. The guys that are in favor of egg yolks say, yeah, there's bad cholesterol and bad fat in there, but there's also some good stuff too. However, the common consensus in the bodybuilding world is egg whites only. Cook up some veggies like broccoli, onions, bell peppers, red peppers, and mushrooms either on a barbecue or sautéed with olive oil in a frying pan and put it in a large Tupperware container. Then put all the Tupperware containers into the refrigerator. So here's the things you need to keep stocked in your house at all times. Take the time to pause the video and write this checklist down. Now you're armed with exactly what you need immediately at hand. Now, every time you eat, count to 3. Eat some meat or eggs, eat some veggies or fruit, and have some monosaturated fat like olive oil. The frozen veggies get microwaved for around 3 or 4 minutes or until the broccoli turns slightly soft. Pour about 3 teaspoons of olive oil over the top and have some meat either mixed in or on the side. There is your high nutrition mini meal, or HNMM, by far the most powerful fat loss tool in existence. The more HNMMs you eat, the less fat you will have in a direct ratio. Eating canned meat and frozen vegetables is great nutritionally, but you do need to switch it up with variety to ensure a constant flow of different nutrients for all the shelves in the nutritional warehouse. As long as you are counting to 3 with your meals, and all 3 macronutrients are from good sources, you can create whatever recipes you want out of it. In fact, we encourage it. Perhaps some scrambled egg whites, fruit and blueberries, and macadamia nuts for breakfast. 1, 2, 3. Maybe teriyaki chicken and mixed vegetables in a stir-fry wok with some olive oil. Meat, veggies, olive oil. Here's a quick HNMM snack. Roll up some turkey lunch meat, add some tomatoes and olives with it, and you've got a quick and easy snack that still represents all 3 macronutrients from good sources. Here's a delicious salad that is power-packed with fat loss nutrition. Start off with some spinach, mix in a sliced tomato, some turkey strips, an avocado, and some black olives. As you can see, all three macronutrients are well represented from good sources, making this a powerful fat loss meal. It's important to eat many different kinds of meat, many different kinds of vegetables and fruits, and have many different kinds of monosaturated fat in your diet. There are a whole lot more shelves in the nutritional warehouse than are shown here, and the wider variety of food you have, the more chance you have of filling all those shelves. Fat loss and health is a game of stocking as many shelves as possible and constantly restocking them. You see, there are many different recipes from all kinds of cookbooks out there, and as long as the recipe has the three macronutrients from good sources in it, basically meat or eggs, veggies or fruit, and monosaturated fat, you can create an endless number of delicious meals. Become an expert chef. You see, your abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. So how much should you eat and how often should you eat? Well, basically, you should eat when you're hungry and you should eat until you're full, which will probably be once every 3.5 or 4 hours, 4 times a day with an 8-hour sleep period. Now you can measure around your wrist and measure around your waist and then take this number and put it into that equation and then calculate it with this formula and try to come up with exact caloric intake requirements, but pretty much you should eat when you're hungry and you should eat until you're full. Never go hungry. Starvation, nutrient-lacking diets just shut down your metabolism and don't work. So many people think diet means you eat less food. Believe it or not, on the maximum fat loss diet, you have to eat more food. You have to do more chewing, more swallowing, and digest more food volume-wise in order to stock all your nutrient shelves and lose the actual body fat. The kick is you'll still be consuming less calories. How? Because the food you eat more of will have less calories in it. Again, they are nutrient dense. Lots of micronutrients with hardly any calories. For instance, here's a bowl of broccoli and here's a bowl of pasta. Both are the same size, yet the bowl of pasta has literally 10 times as many calories. Not twice as many, 3 times as many, 10 times as many as the bowl of broccoli. And again, with hardly any micronutrients. So you can eat 3 or 4 times as much broccoli and you'll still be taking in less than half of the calories as you would eating pasta. Bodybuilders have a way of stating this. They say that green vegetables are free, meaning you can eat as much as you want and not worry about fat gain. Weight loss programs that assign points to different foods you eat, and you write down your daily food in a journal, and you can only eat so many points a day, they assign 0 points to green vegetables. They encourage you to eat as much green vegetables as possible. There are a couple of carbohydrates outside the fruit and vegetable realm, like beans and rice, that you can and probably should eat once in a while. By once in a while, we mean once or twice a week. White rice is pretty devoid of nutrients, but brown rice has some of the vitamin B complex, and beans have a lot of good enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. Rice and beans are carbs that are higher on the glycemic index and should be eliminated during pre-contest time, but should be a once-in-a-while part of a healthy diet. Another carbohydrate that falls into the once-in-a-while category is whole grains, like whole wheat bread, whole grain pasta, and whole grain cereals. Although this does violate the no flour and sugar rule, whole grains do have some nutrients. They just don't have anywhere near the amount of vitamins and minerals as dark green vegetables, or even fruit, but can be substituted in once in a while as the carbohydrates section of a meal. And again, by once in a while, we mean once or twice, maybe 3 times a week. For instance, lean turkey bacon and egg whites for protein, whole wheat toast, and maybe some fruit for the carbohydrate portion of the meal, and some monosaturated fat like half an avocado or a tablespoon of flaxseed oil for the fat portion of a high nutrition, fat loss breakfast meal. Because your meat, veggie or fruit, olive oil, high nutrition mini meals are lower in calories, you'll have to eat more. So don't be surprised if the portions you need are large, because you really need to eat a lot in order to stock your nutrient shelves and lose the actual fat. Again, eat until you are full. So how much meat should you eat in relation to fruits and vegetables, and how much olive oil should you use? Well, the exact ratio of protein to carbohydrates is heavily debated among the top nutritionists. Some experts say you need more protein than carbs, while others say you need a little more carbs than protein, and the debate goes on about fat too. We think it's about even, but it doesn't make that much of a difference as long as you are consistently consuming a constant flow of each of the macronutrients from good sources. Remember, you want to get a nice, even distribution of calories between protein, carbs, and fat, all from good sources. Keep in mind that each shelf in the nutritional warehouse can only fit so much on it. You can't store a whole year worth of vitamin C on a shelf. Excess gets spilled away, so what you want is a nice, even distribution on all the shelves in the warehouse, not stocked shelves in some areas and nothing on other shelves. I like to think of it as, for every mouthful of meat I eat a mouthful and maybe a little more of veggies and or fruit, then around 3 teaspoons of olive oil get mixed in or gulped on the side. Don't overload on protein. When you do, you go into a state called ketosis. Again, you have too many bricks and lumber around and no construction workers to assemble anything. You have your amino acid shelves full, but you have big holes in the vitamin and mineral shelves in your carbohydrate section of your warehouse, which is no good. Again, get a nice, balanced distribution of all 3 macronutrients from good sources. Green vegetables and meat require a lot of chewing, so be sure to have a big glass of water with it. So it's meat, veggies, olive oil, and a big glass of water. Hydration is extremely important for both health and athletic performance. You should drink at least 64 fluid ounces of water a day. Think of the advantages to the high nutrition mini meal. First and foremost, it's optimal nutrition. You simply cannot get a more power-packed meal for health, athletic performance, and fat loss. It covers all 3 bases of the macronutrients, is low glycemic, low calorie, and contains all the amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids in the correct format for the most effective digestion. Each HNMM will replace hundreds of hours of exercise for fat loss. There's really no comparison. Think of each high nutrition mini meal as the most powerful fat loss pill there is. Second, it's convenient. If you pre-assemble your meals by stocking your freezer with the veggie bowls, stocking your cupboard with canned meat and olive oil, and stocking your fridge with diced up fruit, cooked veggies, and some meat, optimal nutrition and fat loss is always at hand and immediately available. And again, convenience will oftentimes be the deciding factor in what you eat. Also, HNMMs can be packed in a lunchbox cooler to be brought to work, the gym, or anywhere else. And number 3, it's cheap. It's more expensive than macaroni and cheese, but less expensive than McDonald's. It falls into that category. So when you think of the cost of dietary supplement programs, gym membership fees, or this gizmo or that piece of exercise equipment, you know how much the high nutrition mini meal maximum fat loss diet will cost you? It'll save you money. Skip the fast foods and the bad carbohydrates and replace them with high nutrition mini meals, and you will notice a big difference in your food bill. Parents of hungry teenage basketball players might want to take note of this, as it will substantially reduce your food bill. This brings up an interesting point on costly supplement programs. Many people think supplements are the answer. When you think about it, couldn't you just fill all of the shelves in your nutritional warehouse with pills? I mean, you could have some amino acid pills, some vitamin C pills, some zinc, some iron, etc., and you really wouldn't have to eat any food. You could just meet all your nutritional requirements through pills, right? Not so. You see, you really need to get your amino acids, your vitamins, your minerals, and your essential fatty acids from food. You see, by the time you take whatever plants and other sources you got, grind it down into a powder, put it into a capsule, put it into a box, and slap a nice shiny label on it, you've lost the vast majority of nutrients. We can get really technically complex at this point and talk about the digestive process, but for our purposes, let's just say that your body likes to digest food. You see, the digestive process starts in the mouth when you begin to chew the food. Saliva starts mixing in with the food as it is ground up and pulverized into a state where it can be swallowed. This sets up the food in the correct format for your intestines to extract and distribute the nutrients. Pills and powders simply cannot do this. They've tried for decades, and they just can't come up with a pill or a powder that can be absorbed by your intestines as well as food. Primarily because it's biologically impossible. You see, it takes more than just getting the substance into you. It takes getting the substance into you in the correct format, which is food ground up and intermixed with saliva. Because of that, now and in the foreseeable future, there's no chance. But if and when technology ever does enable pills to do the job of food, it will definitely revolutionize the world. It will put farms, restaurants, and grocery stores out of business. The time saved in meal preparation, eating, and cleanup would make pills far superior to food in the free market. Eventually, there would no longer be a need for food. Think about it. If they really could achieve nutrition through pills, it would put an end to world hunger. You would just ship boxes of pills to starving nations everywhere, and everyone would be well fed and all their nutrient shelves would be stocked. But they can't. Again, the intestines really need to extract nutrients from food that is ground up and intermixed with saliva. So how can diet pill companies get away with selling something that basically doesn't work like it's supposed to? Well, as long as it doesn't cause any health hazards, then the Food and Drug Administration probably isn't going to bother to investigate it to ban it, and the companies can always say, well, it can get a little bit of the micronutrients into you, which could have possibly a marginal effect, and then debate on how substantial that effect is, which is subjective. But the fact of the matter is, you won't achieve your fat loss goals through supplements, no matter how expensive they are. Supplement companies will even tell you it's a supplement in addition to a healthy diet. But we guarantee the healthy diet is way more powerful for fat loss and health than any pill or powder can be. Although fat loss is almost entirely dependent on what you eat, you can enhance the fat burning effect with exercise. However, please keep in mind that exercise without the fat loss diet is pretty ineffective for fat loss, no matter how much you do. It will only work in addition to stocking all of the shelves in your nutritional warehouse. You see, the problem a lot of people have is that doing a lot of exercise makes you really hungry. And if you don't satisfy that hunger with good protein, good carbs, and good fat, then your body won't release its fat storage. But if you combine exercise with a 1-2-3 diet, you will get the fastest, most effective results. The most effective kind of exercise for losing fat is called aerobics. Aerobics can be defined as any activity that will raise your pulse rate up to around 65% of its maximum and keep it there for 20 to 45 minutes. Your maximum heart rate can be calculated by subtracting your age from 220. That's how many beats per minute your heart can produce at its maximum capacity. Take that number and multiply it by 0.65 to get how many heartbeats per minute you should be exercising at. Then, divide that number by 6 to see how many heartbeats every 10 seconds you should be working at. Check your pulse rate and count how many times it beats in 10 seconds, and increase or decrease your intensity to get to your target heart rate, and then keep it there for 20 to 45 minutes. When you do less than 20 minutes of exercise, you're just burning glycogen and your body won't start dipping into its fat storage. Doing aerobics for more than 45 minutes in a single session starts to have diminishing results, so it's best to keep your aerobic workout between 20 to 45 minutes. For best results, do aerobics 3 to 5 times a week. Your aerobics workout should consist of light to medium intensity activity sustained for 20 to 45 minutes. This can be a lot of things, including dancing, roller skating, kayaking, basketball, stairmasters and ellipticizers, hiking, martial arts, tennis, basically anything that falls into this simple equation. So find an activity that you like and enjoy so you'll stick with it. Consistency is the key. Just doing something once or twice isn't going to yield any results, but if you consistently follow the aerobics equation, and of course have a 1-2-3 diet, you'll compound the effect of fat loss. One of the simplest and most effective of all aerobics exercise is power walking. Just go at a brisk pace and thrust from heel to toe as you counter thrust with your arms. In other words, walk like you're in a hurry to get somewhere. Achieve a pace to where your heart rate stays at around 65% of its maximum and keep that going for 20 to 45 minutes. So what happens if you fall off of the wagon and cheat? What if you have some bread or pasta, or even candy and ice cream? Will cheating on the optimal fat loss diet ruin the whole works? I attended a seminar conducted by the reigning Mr. America bodybuilding champ who addressed this. He said, "I need a cheat day. Once a week, I need a cheat day, and Sunday morning is my cheat day. I go to the movies, catch a matinee, it's nice and cheap, and at the movies I can eat milk duds and popcorn and M&Ms, whatever." And this is a world-class bodybuilder that gets down to ridiculously low levels of body fat. But look at what he's doing. 6 days a week, 24 hours a day, he's in the optimal metabolic state and all the shelves in his nutritional warehouse are full. Then, for a couple of hours on Sunday morning, he throws himself out of that state, but he gets right back into it with his next meal on Sunday afternoon. So the vast majority of time, his body is at its metabolic, fat-burning best. So those couple of hours that he's out of the optimal state don't make hardly any difference. So it's okay to cheat once in a while. Go ahead, you're only human. Just try to stay in the meat, veggies, olive oil state for as much of your life as you can. As long as your nutritional warehouse shelves are full, you can throw a little something into the garbage pile once in a while. Hence the tradition of dessert. It's when your body is trying to extract nutrients from the garbage pile that it stores body fat like crazy. It's lack of nutrients that makes your body store fat. A lot of weight loss programs focus on what to eliminate. Don't eat candy, don't eat fat, don't eat carbs, don't eat this, don't eat that. Let's forget about what not to eat. Let's focus on what to eat. Sometimes a huge, dramatic change in life is hard, so start off with just one high nutrition mini meal a day. Eat everything you normally do, and on top of that, eat just one HNMM at some point during each day. Remember, an HNMM can be a quick microwave thing or a well thought out gourmet dinner, as long as it follows the 1-2-3 rule. After a little while, work your way up to 2 a day. With just 2 HNMMs a day, you'll start to feel the difference. If you eat 3 HNMMs a day, you will shed fat and radically improve your health. And if you get up to 4 HNMMs a day, you've got the nutritional profile of a pre-contest bodybuilder. In this state, you'll start to feel the effects in the first 2 days, and you will notice a reduction in body fat within the first week. You'll lose fat, not weight, but the actual fat, at a rate of about a pound or 2 a week. To lose fat, simply count to 3 each time you eat, and you will optimize your metabolism. In the optimal metabolic state, you will achieve peak health and maximum fat loss. The result is a slim waistline and rock-hard chiseled abs. Follow these simple rules of nutrition, and the results are biologically guaranteed. Good luck and happy eating.